welcome back. This is Sierra, and today I'm going to talk about another adventure in Japan. So if that's something you're interested in watching, stay tuned until after the intro. So today I'm going to talk about our last weekend adventure in Japan, but it's been raining so much I filmed a lot of videos today and yesterday, and so by the time I get around to posting that, I don't know if it'll be 4 weeks or 3 weeks out, but information will still be relevant. Okay, so it was a really nice day, and so we decided on Saturday to go to Asakusa Station. So Asakusa Station is, of course, in downtown Tokyo area-ish, and there are a lot of different things to see down there, but the big main attraction Asakusa is the Sensoji Temple, which is where we went on Saturday. So I was especially excited about this because this is our first Buddhist temple in Japan. Although we're not Buddhists, I really like seeing them, and I've seen a lot of them when I was in China, and so I wanted to compare how they were different to the Chinese ones and the Japanese ones. Okay, so the name of the big temple in Asakusa is called Sensoji Temple. That morning the train seemed especially busy, and I don't know why. I guess maybe everyone was trying to rush to the temple and do whatever there was to do at the temple, because that day there was actually having a special service. I'm not really sure, but anyway, it took us a really, really long time, way longer than we expected. So by the time I got there, I was hungry and I was angry, and like the hangry y'all was real. So what I did when we got there is I opened the Happy Cow app on my phone, which, if you don't know what Happy Cow is, you should be ashamed of yourself. Okay, so Happy Cow is a really great vegetarian and vegan. Even if you're not vegetarian or vegan, it's a really good search engine, so you can find a restaurant that will satisfy all parties. Okay, so the restaurant we went to for lunch was called Kaimon Asakusa. I'm going to put a screenshot of the Happy Cow page on here so you can see it. So, yeah, so according to Happy Cow, I didn't realize this when we first got there. Apparently that it's an all-organic restaurant, which is exciting. So it's not only a fully vegan restaurant, but it's also, I think, a fully organic restaurant. Don't quote me on that, but that's what it seems to say according to the app. Yum. Anyway, so we went there for lunch, and it's kind of hard to find. As you're walking from the train station, you kind of have to go up and around, and then you have to go under an overpass thing. Yeah, so after you go under the overpass, it's going to be, I think, the second street on your right, except it's kind of in between the two streets, but it's on the third floor. Yeah, so it ended up being a buffet, which I didn't expect, which was fine, and all the food is really good. One little piece of culture shock for me is when we checked in and paid for the buffet, she let us know the price, and she said, but it's for 90 minutes. And I was thinking, oh yeah, that's fine, that's more than enough time for lunch, but if you're from the States like me, you know that buffet means you go, and then once you're done, you can leave. Apparently not in Japan. So, in Japan, they give you, at least at this restaurant, they give you a time limit, and so you're there for 90 minutes, and then the expectation is that you leave or that you pay again, which is fair. I wasn't upset by it as much as I was just kind of surprised by it, just because of the fact that you know, who wants to put a time limit on lunch? But then again, an hour and a half should be plenty of time to eat enough food to fill your stomach. Even if you sit there, 90 minutes is definitely enough time. I've never timed myself at a regular buffet, but come on, 90 minutes is enough. Yeah, so when in Japan, they don't do this whole pay once, stay all day. No, you pay once, you stay for 90 minutes, you eat, and then you go home, and that's the end of it. Oh no, but in all seriously, it's a great restaurant. Highly recommend, especially even if you're not vegan, it has really yummy, healthy food. And especially if you fill up yourself with yummy, healthy, organic food, you probably won't eat as much junk on your way up to the temple. One thing I will tell you about this temple, it was so crowded. It could have been that it was a Saturday, but as we got up to the temple, I realized that the reason that it was so crowded is because of the fact that there was some kind of special service going on inside. So we weren't actually allowed to go to the inside of the temple because we weren't temple members. Totally fair, I understand that. But we were able to look in, and just like a lot of the other temples I've seen, the inside was, again, really, really, really beautiful. First thing that you see when you go to the Sensoji Temple, there's this big red balloon thing with some kanji on it, and for some reason everyone wants to take a picture, and it definitely took me 15 or 20 minutes to take this picture. So you're welcome, and now we have it forever. And right before this picture was taken, I was literally standing underneath the big lantern thing by myself, and then all of a sudden this huge group of Japanese school children, because a lot of Japanese schools have school on Saturday, their teacher told them in Japanese, stand in with her and just stand in front of her and we'll take the picture. I was so mad. It's are you kidding me? I looked at her, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I think it was something along the lines of, are you kidding me? I'm trying to take a picture here. And she just looked at me as if I was an alien and then continued to take a picture of all her students. But seriously, I'm one person. I waited, wait your turn. So this is my public service announcement. So not only people visiting Japan or being in Japan, like just traveling in general, when it comes to big tourist places where people are taking pictures, wait your turn. Just stand in line and wait your turn. In Japan, they have lines for everything else. You stand for the queue. You stand for the bus. You stand for the train. You stand for the ATM. You stand for lunch. You stand just stand in line. Okay. I think I need another minute. Okay. Is that what they say at temples? I'm not sure. Okay. I'm prepared to talk about the temple now that I'm all zen and stuff. Yeah. After I took the picture, we finally went into the temple, and one thing that was interesting to me is at the front of the temple, before you got up to the actual temple part, there were a bunch of little pits burning different kinds of incense, and I don't know exactly what they were burning. Some of them smelled really nice, some of them smelled like something was rotting and dead. I'm not really sure, but altogether, the smell was actually really nice, and so I know that they burn the incense. I think it's for ancestors or something, or to pay their respects to the temple. Sorry, I'm not an expert on Buddhism. If you are, let me know why they were burning all the incense in the comments, because I don't actually know, but other than to give an offering, I don't know. But anyway, and then we went up into the temple, and we were able to see. I don't know if I was supposed to take pictures, but I did. Sorry. There's a lot of really beautiful artwork in the ceilings of the temples, and one thing I really liked about it is that it didn't look like it had been heavily restored. It actually looked like it had been there for a long time. And I don't know if you know, the Sensoji Temple is the oldest temple in Japan, or one of the oldest temples in Japan, and so the fact that it hadn't been retouched to me made it feel authentically old. Anyway, another big difference between a temple and a shrine I noticed is that on the inside of the temple, there's actually a little, what we would call it in the Christian church, a sanctuary. So you actually can go inside and pay your respects. We couldn't go in because that day they were having a special service, and they had a sign in Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, and English that said you couldn't go in unless you're a temple member because there's a special service today, which was fine. So I went up to the front and I had to look around, and I wanted to take pictures inside, but I wasn't sure if I was supposed to, so, but a lot of other people were taking pictures, and so I took a couple of pictures. As you can see, the inside of the temple is all gold. It was beautiful. I don't know if it was real gold. I assume it was because, in churches, it's usually gold leaf, but this is not a church. Anyway, moving on. Another fun thing that you can do in the temple is you can get your fortune bread. And so what you have to do, it's really fun. I had Mr. take a video of me doing it. So what you have to do is you have to pay, I think it was 100 yen. And what you do is you take your coin and you put it into the little slot in the bottom. But of course, it's Japan, so you have to wait in line. So after you're done waiting in line, what you do is you take your 100 yen coin, you put it into the box, and then you take the box of sticks. And then what you do is you shake it and you pull out one of the sticks, and it has a number on it. And then what you have to do is you have to find your number, and as you could tell in the video, I did not know what that number was, so a really nice lady helped me find my number. And then you open the box, and then you take out your fortune, and then you can read it. So I don't actually have my fortune anymore, and I'll explain that in a minute, but this is what my fortune said. I got a bad fortune, and so I took a picture of it so I would still be able to read it to you guys. I'm not going to read the whole fortune because it was long, but I have it on my phone so I can tell you guys about it. So basically, according to my fortune on my phone, I should stay alone and be unknown to other people, and if I have a problem, I should hold it inside. Whatever I ask, it's not going to happen apparently in the near future. Being patient keeps the bed long, so I guess that means I'm going to sleep for a long time. I don't actually have any idea what that means. Anyway, I should not be looking for love because the person I wait for will not come over. I should not build a new house. I should not go on a trip, and I definitely shouldn't get married or get a new job. Well, I am getting a new house, but I'm already married, so I'm good there, and I am actually searching for a job. So it's not a bad idea, I don't know, but I'm not really superstitious, so I don't really care. But it was definitely a fun experience. Anyway, and so if you got a bored fortune like me, what you were supposed to do next is you're supposed to take your fortune and fold it, and then you tie it up on this little clothesline thing. I don't actually know what it's called, sorry about that. I guess it's an offering for the temple gods to help you or something, and then I think you're supposed to make another donation after that. I forgot to do that, so I guess I'm pretty much doomed. And then I want to speak really quickly, I know that these fortunes are really important and they're traditional. I'm not an expert on Buddhism, again, like I said, but it appears that everyone around me, except for, one or two people, were getting bad fortunes. Very interesting. And the idea of the bad fortune is you're supposed to tie it to the little clothesline thing and then pay another offering to help the fortune not be so bad. I'm not saying it's planned, but to me, it sounds like perhaps they're trying to cash in on it. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Please don't kick me out of the country. I'm sorry. Just calling him like I see him. I'm sorry. After that, we left the temple. We went down the temple stairs and we looked at the big pagoda, which is really cool. It has 5 tiers. We couldn't go in, but it's super cool. And after that, we walked back around the temple, and on the side, they had a little Shinto shrine. And so from what I understand, in Japan, they have like, they're not all Shinto. Some of them are Buddhist, or they're kind of a combination of the two. And so I thought it was interesting that there was a temple for Buddhism and then a shrine next door. And so we went and we looked at the shrine, and again, they all kind of, to me, look the same. You wait in line, you give your offering if you want to, and bow, and then you're done. And then you just leave. And then also next to it, there was a monkey show, but the monkey show was at 2:30, and Mr. didn't want to wait around, and I mean, if you've seen one monkey show, you've probably seen them all. So we decided to skip that one. Okay, so one of the main tourist draws at Asakusa after the temple is there are tons of little tourist shops, and a lot of them are, a lot of them sell like traditionally Japanese tourist items that you can take home, but some have good stuff, and also one of the big draws that they have is a lot of the food. Oh my gosh, the food. Yeah. If you Google or YouTube Asakusa, you'll see like one of the top things to do there is, of course, to experience the shop. And one of the big reasons to do that is because of the delicious mochi. Up and down the strip, there are tons of little different mochi shops that have different flavors. But be very careful if you're vegan, because some of them are deep fried in a batter that may or may not contain eggs or milk. So I avoided all the ones that were deep fried for that reason, but if you're not vegan, you can try whatever you want to try. Anyway, and then we went to a couple of different shops, and I'm pretty sure I had my weight in mochi, but my 2 favorite shops that I went to were this world famous one. I don't know what it was called because it was all in Japanese, but there's a picture of me here enjoying the food because it was delicious. And what they do there is they take the mochi, and I think it's sesame or peanut. It tasted peanutty to me. Like they put like a peanut powder on it and they sell it in pouches, and oh, it was so delicious. But see the picture of me, I'm really, really enjoying it. Probably one of the best mochis I've ever had in my life. Another food they're famous for is they have a seasonal mochi that I don't know what it's called. This is a picture of it, and this is a picture of me eating it and being excited. And as you can see, it's a mochi, and in the inside it has a red bean paste, and then it's topped with a seasonal strawberry. And so if you're in Japan in the spring, that's the only time that you can get it. From what I understand, that could be a lie. In the winter, if I have friends and family here, I'm going to go there and check and find out whether or not they actually have it in the winter or just in the spring, since I'm straight up curious. But anyway, it's absolutely delicious. And then after that, we ate a popsicle, and we were pretty much done with what we wanted to see while we were in Asakusa. It was so crowded, and there were so many people. Like the introvert in me, even though there's not, believe it or not, I am kind of an introvert, just was screaming, and I had to get out of there in all the crowd. So we decided to go somewhere else. Then we were already downtown, so we wanted to go see a different part of Tokyo that is, again, all the tourist things that you have to see. So we went over to Akihabara. I think is how you say it. Let me double check. Down there. So if you don't know, Akihabara is world famous because it's the electronics and anime center of Tokyo, possibly the entire world. Even though I'm not really an anime person, we were excited to see kind of like what they have there and see it and see what all people talk about. So when we stepped out of the station, first thing we saw, of course, anime everywhere. Anime everywhere. So like you see in all the, not all the buildings, but there's a lot of buildings that have like anime characters painted on them, and they look really cool. And in some ways it kind of made me feel like we were in like an anime Disney World, except for all the rides and stuff. But that's beside the point. We turned one corner, it was like, boom, Sega, a whole building. And I guess, it's modeled after the old Sega game that we also played when we were little. But if you go inside, it's actually like a big like Clawmaster game store, kind of. They have them in shopping centers too, but this is like one of the really big ones. And so we didn't actually go inside, but I assume it was just like all those floors full of claw machines, and they had really cool big prizes in them. All right. Anyway, and so we walked around for a while, and again, because we're just not big anime people, we were probably missing something, but they had tons and tons of shops with different anime collectibles, anime magazines, videos, pretty much anything that you want that's anime, you can get in Akihabara. Another thing too is they have some really, really big electronic stores, and pretty much any electronic that you could ever want, even including vintage electronics, you can get it at Akihabara, which is really cool. And then my favorite thing of the day, because although I'm not like an anime person, I grew up playing video games with all my cousins because I had almost all boy cousins, and so we went to this store called Mr. Potato. The way I would describe Mr. Potato is a video game store that's like a time capsule, because at Mr. Potato they have literally everything from like Atari to the most recent system that came out. I think it was PlayStation 4. I'm sorry I'm not very good with video games anymore. I peaked at like Jack 3 for PlayStation 2, so my video game knowledge is kind of out of date. But anyway, we walked into this Mr. Potato. Even though it was a really small one, it was basically a time capsule. Like all the things that I used to play with my cousins as a kid on the TV were there. And we even got to play like the original Super Smash Brothers for I think it was the GameCube. That could be a lie. But the original Smash Brothers, they had one for like demo, which we got to play, which was really, really cool. And yes, we won. So in the entire store, they kind of have different sections for different game consoles that you can actually buy, and they actually work, which is amazing. And they even have consoles that are like originally like still in the original packaging. And the best part is, like, I guess probably because there are just so many that were manufactured, and there are just so many in Japan, everyone wants the latest and greatest. You can get like a Nintendo 64 that's basically brand new, or an Atari that's basically brand new at this store, because it's only been used a few times or possibly never ever opened, which is cool. So if you like vintage video games or retro video games, or you want to call them, come to Japan, find a Mr. Potato, and just buy up the whole store. Now, we didn't actually buy anything that day because I didn't want to carry it and I didn't know if it would actually work back in the States. Though even though we live in Japan now, I'm worried about 3 years from now when we are no longer on orders and we go back. One of my main concerns about buying vintage video games here is going back to the States and the voltage not being correct, because the voltage is 50. And the packaging I think was 50, and I think it's 60 in the US. So if you've ever bought vintage video games and taken them back to the States, or if you're a Japanese person who now lives in the US and brought Japanese electronics with you, please let me know in the comments if they will work in the States, because that will determine whether or not I can buy any and or send any for friends back in the States. So, and no, I'm not taking orders and sending them on eBay. Not going to happen. But, you know, if you're a close friend or family member, as in like you knew me before YouTube and or, you know, we share blood, then yes, I will send you something. After the Mr. Potato store, we walked around a few more shops at Akihabara, and then after that, we decided to go grab some dinner. And once again, the Happy Cow came to my rescue, and according to Happy Cow, the Coco's Curry House there has a vegan option. So we were able to go there, and we had some really yummy curry from the curry house there, so it was delicious. Now I'm wondering, like, we have a curry place near our station here, and so I wonder if they have a vegan option, but I just didn't know about it, because that location's not on Happy Cow. I'll have to check that out. It's really important. All right. Anyways, so that concludes our adventures in Akihabara and Asakusa last weekend. So if you have any questions or recommendations for going back, please let me know about them in the comments. Also, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button so that way you'll get a notification every single time that I post something exciting. All right, that's all I have. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye!